Welcome, welcome. I did a video a couple of days ago, and it was the longest video I ever did. It was almost 2 hours. And as I was uploading it, I didn't realize that somehow I disconnected my Wi Fi and I was running off my data. So, as I was uploading my video, it was taken forever. And when I mean forever, it was going on like 17 hours. And it was just slowly uploading. And no, actually, it went even longer than that. And it still did not completely upload. Um, and so I just deleted it. And I was really touching a lot of different subjects. That's why the video was so long. But I deleted it and I'm going to redo it. And I'm going to shorten that video. I'm going to try not to make it so long because I don't like long videos like that, especially when they're pre-recorded and you're just looking at a fireplace or whatever. It was raining. And it's still raining. I'm going to try to do some more videos outside so you're not just staring at a fireplace or whatever. We're supposed to have warmer weather tomorrow. Not raining. It's been raining for the last, I think, 3 days now. So, anyways, yeah, it was a very long video, so I do want to shorten that. But I'm still going to do it. It was just touching a lot of different subjects. So anyways, this video, as you can see, I wanted to talk about Natasha's views on mental health. And I do have to say that I do not follow Natasha to her other platforms. When she says she's not on YouTube or she's whatever, yes, she is. Okay, even though her channels were taken down, she still has been on YouTube. She either goes on someone's platform or she makes a new channel. She's always been on YouTube. Maybe not as much as she was before when she had a channel, but she's still there continuously. So when she says, people ran me off of YouTube or whatever, but they're still talking about me and I'm not even there anymore. And, people, her community want to say the same thing. Well, that's not true. She's still there. She's still there. And she just made another channel and she's, whatever. But I will not follow her over to one of her platforms. I'm not going to do that. So I'm not on Twitch. I'm not in her Patreon. I'm not going to look at, I think she says she has a website. I'm not going to look at that. I'm only on YouTube. So the only time that I will hear anything that Natasha puts out herself, because I don't like hearsay, is if she makes another channel like she did, or if somebody streams her, or there's a clip of what she, has said or whatever, then that's how I'll hear her. But I'm not one to follow her around. What she does is her business. I don't care if she's on YouTube. That's none of my business. So, if she is ban evading, that's on her. You know, I think, and that was on my other video too. I was covering a lot of different topics. It wasn't just Natasha. I was covering a lot of different things. But, that's all on her. But I'm not going to be one to follow her around. But, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and dig right in. And I have to say that I found it kind of disturbing the way her thoughts on mental health. And I don't think she completely understands. And I know that a lot of her viewers, her subs, they suffer from mental health issues. A lot of them have been very vocal about it. And this had to really hit home for them. But, no one's going to stand up and say anything to her. They're not. None of her supporters are. And they're not going to say, no, ma'am, I can't support what you just said, because we all see what happens, right? Um, if you go against what she says and you're in her community and you have a channel, you know that the majority of your subs are hers. They belong to her, in her eyes. So they're going to unsub from you. They're going to unsub. And um, a lot of the smaller channels, if they do that, that's going to take your numbers down below the point of being monetized. Not all, but some. And you know it's going to happen. And you have seen how she has dragged people. You've seen it, how she's going to call them out. And she's going to tell her subscribers, if you're going to support them, don't come back over here. Even though she doesn't have a platform on YouTube, or she's not supposed to. If you are going to be over there, I don't want you nowhere near me, basically. So we're going to go over some of the things that she said. And I did write these down because she does have a new channel up. She said she hopes she can keep it up over the weekend. She kind of laughed and giggled about it and stuff like that. That she hopes it stays up. And she put her PayPal link down, to make sure that she gets her funding that she needs. And she was addressing a few people. And of course, she got, in my opinion, vile. She had to go after others, other people's looks. And in my opinion, she was body shaming them. She always has to go after looks. I've said that you can clap back. You absolutely can. If somebody is mentioning you or whatever, you can clap back at them. But you don't have to, go after their looks and body shame them. You don't have to do that. But, Natasha has to do that. She does. That's her MO. That's one of her MOs. I was mentioning in my other video that I did, that's not up, a lot of her different MOs. And that's one of them. She has to go after people's looks. And you would think that, after some have went after her, that's something she would not do to other people, especially those that have not went after her looks. Now, I'm not saying that people have not went after her, because we know they have. But there's some people that haven't went after her looks, and she has went after their looks. That part I don't get. Okay, I don't get that. She knows how it feels. But she does it to almost everybody that she has a falling out with. She goes after their looks. And even people that she really didn't have a falling out with, she just doesn't like, she'll go after their looks. And people wonder why they don't cam up. Why do you people want to get ripped apart? Why do they want to get ripped apart? I mean, the world's ugly enough as it is. So why would they want a creator and their whole entire community ripping someone apart? God gave us this body, we age, there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, I guess you can if you want to pay for plastic surgery or whatever, but why? That's all I got to say. Why? You don't like it being done to you, so why do you go after others? I'll never understand that. But anyways, she was being pretty nasty, and I don't know if her videos are on private now. I was able to listen to the one But if you go under her videos on her new channel, you can't find it. But I was able to listen to it. And then I was able to listen to the clip that someone had of her talking about mental health. And like I said, she did say that people will twist her words. Now, I did write them down, of what she said, and you can't twist it. You can't. So, um, when she did her video, she made it more like, talking about this mass shooting that just happened. And she was making it more of the gun control, okay? Making it more sound like the gun control than the mental health issues. And I do have to agree with her on certain things. I do. And the rest I don't agree with her on. And I am going to call those out. She also said, and I couldn't see the chat because it was a replay. So I didn't see the chat going on. But she did say that, well, I do say some things on purpose. I say things on purpose to see how people run with it. Now, why would you do that when you know, I don't know what the person in chat might have said to her, but when you know that, a lot of your people have talked about mental health and, this is something pretty serious, why would you say things on purpose as a trigger? Okay. Well, yeah, you kind of do know because nobody's going to call you out in your community. They're not. Um, your viewers aren't, and especially uh, the people in your community that have a channel that are trying to get monetized or they are monetized because the majority of their subs are your subs. And they know that they're going to lose those subs. So, just saying, they're not going to say anything no matter how bad it hurts their feelings. They're not. They're going to stick up for Natasha no matter what she says, no matter how much she body shames or she downgrades the mental health aspect, even though they might be suffering with mental health issues, okay? And a lot of them have made it clear that they suffer. So, with the gun issue, I do have to agree with her that to a point here because I practice my Second Amendment right. Sorry, my children they all do as well. But as a gun owner, you also have to be responsible, and that means, in my opinion, that if you have guns in your house, especially if you have children and teenagers, they should be locked up at all times. That's my opinion. My grandchildren know all about guns. They know, they shot guns, okay? They live on a mountain. They have acres of land, okay? And yes, they have shot the guns. But, and they have been taught the safety, and you don't touch these. These guns will kill, okay? But those weapons are under lock and key. And it's my belief that if you are going to be a gun owner and you have children, no matter what age, okay, they should be under lock and key at all times. They should not be out in the home. That's just my opinion. That's being a responsible gun owner, okay? And also, I do agree, too, that guns do not kill people. People kill people, all right? But I do have to say, I also think that they should be stricter gun laws. Now, I'm not sure how to go about doing that because if people want to commit a crime and they want to use a gun, a lot of times the guns are they get, these criminals will get guns illegally. They get them off the street. Um, we have a lot of gangs out there, right? Or even people that don't have a criminal background. Um, they will get them from friends. They'll get them from friends' parents. They might get their own parents' guns because they weren't locked up. Or they might go to, like I said, their friend's house or whatever. A lot of times people get, if they want to get a gun, they're going to get a gun somehow. All right? And a lot of times they get them off the streets illegally. So I don't know what the answer to, I don't know what the answer for that problem is. I don't know. Now, one of the things that she also said that I have to agree with is things have changed in the last 30 years, and they have. You know, back when I was in school, that's nothing. You know, the school shootings, we didn't see that. We didn't see that. You know, I graduated in '88. We didn't see the school shootings. We just didn't. We didn't worry about that, not like they do today. But moving on from that, times have changed. That is, you know, that's what happens. Just like back in my day, times changed back from, back in the 50s and 60s. Things changed, okay? That's how life is. You go 20 years from now, things are going to be totally different. We just don't know how different. That's how life is. But when she says, and she also said that people are going to twist her words. I don't know if I already said that or not. But I did write it down. And we're going to go over what she said when she's talking about mental health. Now, on her video that she said, or the video that she did, after she was done being vile, in my opinion, and talking about, other people's looks, she gets into, the gun violence. She was talking about other creators and what they were talking about, mental illness, and she said that she stood up for mental illness, that other people were trying to say that, she downgraded it. And she's like, I've always stood up for people that suffered from, PTSD, like our military men and women, those that fought for our country, and for those that suffered something, that was beyond their control. Not everybody that has PTSD are in the military. And I'm not taking away from our military, because I have many in my family that fought for our country and were in the military, including my son-in-law, who suffers from PTSD from the military. And then add that on from what just happened a few months ago with my ex-husband that I've already talked about. Now, all three of my children have been diagnosed with PTSD recently because of what they witnessed with their father, of what he did in front of them. So I think she kind of touched base a little bit when she said, something that happens to somebody that's traumatic, that's beyond their control. Okay? But I think what she is not getting is, with mental illness, there's a chemical imbalance in the brain. See, that's not something that anybody can control. All right? That's the same thing. People can't control that. That's not what she's getting, and she's not getting it because it's not happening to her, or it's not happening to one of her children. So that's not something she's understanding. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And here's the thing too, and I want to put this out there, because I always said We shouldn't talk about other people's kids. Kids should not be talked about. And I don't know if I am, what do you call it, going against my own morals here or going against what I say. I might get some backlash about this because I'm going to be talking about parenting or maybe children. I don't know. And I said I don't believe in that, but this is about parenting because this is what Natasha talked about. This is what Natasha put out there. So that's what I'm discussing. Okay. So I don't know if I am kind of crossing that line a little bit and I might get some backlash from it. But this is what she put out there. We know Natasha talks about everybody else's parenting, right? But that's not something I want to do. So I'm saying basically what she has said. She has said herself. So I am just going over what she has said, repeating it, and maybe ad-libbing a little bit more, if that makes any sense. I don't know if I'm crossing my own lines here. So, like I said, I might get a little bit of backlash from it. She stated that in the little clip that I heard, that the world has turned children into nuts. The world has changed. I give her that. You have a lot of single moms out there, single fathers. The divorce rate is high. It kind of always has been. I think it's like over 50%. I know that of marriages that fail. You have social media is a thing now where it wasn't back when I was growing up. But you can't blame all that on social media. You can't. Kids are into social media now. Teenagers, especially are into social media. But I'm not sure exactly where she gets that the world has turned kids into nuts. But we'll move on from that. She talks about how people are unmedicated, or maybe kids, undiagnosed and untreated. That can be true. Especially with the C virus. A lot of things were closed down. There was a lot of like Zoom meetings and stuff like that. There's still kids out there and young adults, even adults or whatever that don't have insurance. They also get misdiagnosed. They might think that there's one thing, a doctor might think it's one thing and they actually have something else. Medication. They might start them on one medication and that medication might not work. And they start them on something else. And they just have to find the right medication, right? So she goes on to say that kids, they stay in their room. And we're going to stop right there. And we're going to mention this a few times about kids staying in their room. Because she says that they stay in their room. Well, let's move on, because she says that they stay in their room and they listen to emo music all day long. And they talk about how depressed they are, and they don't know how to work it out or work out their own damn problems, and they don't know how to entertain themselves. Let me read that again. Okay? They stay in their rooms, they listen to emo music all day long, and they talk about how depressed they are. They don't know how to work out their own damn problems, and they don't know how to entertain themselves. Now, she's talking about kids. I don't know about the emo music, okay? I've heard some of the music that Natasha's had playing, all right? some of the rap music that she has playing on some of the live videos that she has down? Have you really listened to the words? What's the difference? Okay. I've listened to the words because, I like all kinds. I mean, I'm an 80s girl. I like 80s music, but I listen to my kids' music too. And I, some of the music that Natasha would play on her lives, okay. I mean, is that the music that you got going on in your house? I don't know. All right. But she says they stay in their rooms all day. Well, later on in the video, and that's why I said I was going to stop because, and I'm going to say this quite a few times, because she says that one of the people, and I'm going to try to do this where I'm not mentioning the child, but she says one of the people in her house, not her grown child, one of the people in her house stays in her room all the time. Okay? So what is she saying there? But she does say that she's in her room all the time and she reads or she paints or she colors. Now, at the age that she says she is, and we all know because she's an open book, she tells us her whole life. We know that her age, she's 14. I find this hard to believe. I'm sorry. I find it hard to believe that a 14-year-old is going to stay in their room and not listen to music and not have any type of social media. All right? None. And they're just going to be in there from the time they get home from school and stay in there all day until they go to bed at 8. That's what she said, not me. And they're just going to color and read, and because Natasha's live every day for hours, and around the time that this her this I'm trying to do it where I'm not mentioning the child, even though Natasha does, would be home. She, a lot of times would be home, and on weekends, and not hearing her do these videos and be vile and nasty and not listen to it because she's in a room all day, and that this child would be happy with that. I find that hard to believe because I don't know. I just find it hard to believe. Okay, and not watching TV because she goes on to say about TV and video games. I For all of us out there that has had 14-year-olds or 15-year-olds, 13-year-olds or whatever, they would, to me, they would see that would seem to be, to me, that would not be a very fulfilling life for a teenager. Okay, not to have, just to sit in a room after school until bedtime because their parent is doing they're doing lives, right? And their parent is saying things that a child should not hear, so they're going to stay in their room all the time and just color and entertain themselves and not watch TV, not play any video games, not have any social media, and that's going to make that child happy and content. I mean, now granted, reading is very good for a child, and doing art is very good for a child. Teenager, I mean, I recommend that highly because I do believe that some kids, they play way too much video games. I give her that. Maybe watch too much TV. And they don't do enough reading. They don't do enough stuff outside. They don't do enough creative things. So that I do agree with. Kids do need more of that, less time playing video games, less time maybe on social media, but there's a balance, okay? There is a balance. But she said that they shouldn't stay in their rooms, okay? But it sounds like that this child is staying, in her home, is staying in their room all the time because she said it, not me. I'm not putting that out there. She said it on her video that her child is in a room all day long. Or not all day, but she's in a room all the time. She said it, not me. And then, and they talk about how depressed they are. Now, I'm sorry, but if my child would tell me that they're depressed, um, I would want to know why. Are they being bullied at school? What is going on? If my child is depressed, something is up, okay? And I'm not going to ignore that. When I went through my divorce, like I've stated many times before, I was in a domestic violence situation. My kids went through therapy, okay? I want to know, why is my child depressed? If my child was having anxiety, I would want to know what is going on. Are they depressed because of something that is going on outside of the home, inside of the home, or is it something, maybe a chemical imbalance going on? There is a difference, okay? So I would want to know what is going on. I wouldn't want my child just to be in their room all the time and not digging in and finding out what is going on with them. And then she said they don't know how to work out their own damn problems. Really? A child is supposed to work out their own damn problems. Sometimes adults can't work out their own problems. Children's brains aren't even fully developed yet. Not until they become a young adult are they fully developed. So how are they supposed to work out their own problems? Now, we do want our kids to learn coping skills, right? We want to teach them that. We do. But sometimes they need us, okay? They need us. And they do not need to be in their rooms all day. They need interaction with us as their parents, right? And they shouldn't have to all the time work out their own problems. Sometimes they do if it's minor, all right? If it's minor, we have to give them that independence to work out some of their problems. Say they have a fight with their bestie or something like that. Something minor, yes, they need to work that out. They need to learn the coping skills so that they can learn that, as an adult. That's what we teach them, though. We have to teach them that. You can't teach a child anything if you're sending them to their room, go color, okay? Go read, go spend all your time in your room. And they don't know how to entertain themselves. Now, I got to give her some props on that because, some kids, we do, they need to, they do need to entertain themselves, okay? But they still need us. I mean, some kids, they want all of your attention all the time. And, when parents work and you have other children in the home and, it's hard to divide all that attention up, but kids still need your attention. And yes, kids do need to learn to entertain themselves. and to learn coping skills as well, but they need to learn it from their parents, okay? They need to be taught, not shoved into a room. And then she goes on to say, if parents would start parenting their children instead of letting them sit in front of a video game and TV, we wouldn't have these problems to begin with. I kind of agree with her on that. Some parents, there are kids that play way too much video games. That's all they do. Video games and TV. That's it. But what is the difference? Let me ask you this. What is the difference on playing video games all day or, at night than being sent to your room? I mean, if you're going to parent, parent. Okay? And this is what I mean by parent. I mean, I'm going to give you an example. Okay? Now, I have 3 children. They're grown. I've said that before. I worked full-time and I was going to college too. But my kids, when I had free time, and my free time was very limited. It was. Because I was working full-time. And even my teenagers, okay, when they were teenagers, I spent as much time with them as I could. And like I said, I worked outside of the home full-time. And then there was a point where I was going to school as well full-time. Not the whole time that they were growing up, okay? But I parent my children, which meant that I didn't shove them in their room or tell them, you need to go to your room, or stay in their room. Actually, my daughter, she liked to spend a lot of time in her room too. See, that's the thing. When you have teenagers, a lot of times they want to spend time in their room. They do. And, we want to give them that privacy too, their own space. But sometimes they get depressed, right? And with my kids, I wanted to spend time with them. I wanted to know how their day went at school. I wanted to check their homework. Okay, I wanted to make sure their homework was done. I wanted to check their homework. I made them dinner, okay? And it just depended on, my schedule at work too. On when I didn't, and when I had the day off, I made dinner. When I worked a different shift, I would have dinner made, okay? So I cooked for my kids, all right? They didn't have to do that on their own. Now, I taught my kids how to cook. I mean, they would make some stuff too. We would cook together. I wanted to make sure that my kids knew how to cook. We would do things together, okay? We went outside. We did fun things together. I've already said before that I had a boat. We would go tubing. We would go hiking. We would do things together. So my kids weren't in their room all the time. To me, that's parenting. We would do things together. And I worked a full-time job outside of the home. So I did things with my kids. I cleaned my house. My kids would help too. They had chores to do. They had things that they had to do. They helped right alongside me, so they weren't privileged. They had to do things as well, to help out around the house. But to me, parenting means paying attention to your kids, knowing what's going on in their lives. My kids had a lot of their friends over, and that was fine. We would do things outside. We had a pool and, just fun things. We did a lot of camping. Did a lot of camping. My kids were camping when they were young. We did a lot of fishing. We did a lot of things that didn't cost a lot of money. So, to me, parenting is spending time with your children and not having them go to their room all the time. Yes, they're, especially when they're teenagers, they're going to want their private time. And it's necessary. They want their private time. But to me, it's not healthy either to have them in their room all the time. It's not. That's just my opinion. Uh, we would have also on the weekends when I didn't have to work, um, we would have a family night. And that was to get together and watch a movie. Everybody picked a movie out, pop popcorn. We would get those, those movie-sized candies and stuff, and we would watch movies as a family. Board games too. And my son, if I never see another Monopoly game, never too soon. My youngest son, he would beat everybody at Monopoly. Monopoly would go on forever and ever. But I still have here, I have so many board games, it's not even funny. And my youngest son is really the board game person. And my kids have taken these values and they have it with their children. They do the same things. Now, my grandkids, they love their video games. I'm not going to lie. But they have acres of land on the mountain. And they get out, they have pigs, they have chickens, they have all these farm animals, and they get out and they work the land. They have so much time that they are allowed on their video games and, to watch a movie or whatever. But they get out and they go on their land. They do work on the land. They go outside. They also have my daughter and my other son. They have a camper on their land, and they have like a big old fire pit and everything. And they actually do like they're camping with the kids. So it's a balance, okay? It's a balance. And yes, parents need to parent their children. And that means not spending time in the room all the time. That's not healthy. It's absolutely not healthy. And it doesn't matter if it's spending all the time in there playing video games on social media or reading all the time. I mean, granted, like I said, it's good to be reading. It is. Kids need to read more. They need to be creative, create things. But to spend all the time in a room and not parent them, not do things with them, not take them outside and not take them out in nature, or only take them when it's necessary to take them to do things. That's not parenting. Sorry, it's not. And then she says, I'm not my children's friend, and I never have been. I don't care if they like me or not. I'll, and we'll stop there. And I kind of agree and I don't agree. Okay? Some parents only want to be their children's friend, and they don't want to parent. And what happens there is there's no discipline. Okay? But then you have the parent that over disciplines, and their children just can't stand them and they rebel. So there's a balance. You need to parent first, okay? Be a parent, and you can be their friend too. See, I was like that with my kids. I disciplined them. I never had to spank my kids. I'm not saying that, parents shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that, or whatever. I just never had to do it. But I am my kids' friend. My daughter, like I said, they're all adults. They can come to me about anything. They knew that. And we have a very good, open relationship. They were never scared of me. I mean, they had their father to be scared of. So I didn't want them to be scared of me. And then they could be very open and honest with me. And yes, I didn't like some of their behavior, but I mean, I had pretty good kids. And yes, I do consider them, I consider us friends, but I'm their parent first. So, I mean, there's a boundary there, okay? And then she said, I'm not going to go into all the other things that she said, okay? These are the points that really stuck out to me. I'll do whatever it takes to protect them. Well, here's the thing. She has them out all over on social media, okay, in a drama community. And people have attacked the two that are in the home. In my opinion, that's not protecting them, okay? Because if I put my children out there in the drama community, and if I had people attacking, calling CPS, going to their school, trying to take one's tuition away from school, trying to stop an adoption, and she keeps having them do a video when they're underage, putting their face out there. No, to me, that's not protecting them. I'm sorry. I would have said, you know what? They come first. I'm done with YouTube. I'm done. But here's the thing. She still could have done YouTube without putting them out there. But Natasha's like, well, I'm an open book. I'm an open book. But see, the minor child didn't ask and didn't have, she didn't ask to be put out there like Natasha put her out there. She put all her business out there. And she's not old enough to give consent to have her business put out there. So now a lot of people have done some damage to this child, okay? Her face has been out there. All her personal business has been put out there, all right, forever. It's out there forever. And she's already been through a tragedy. And people have went after her, all these CPS calls, they went to her school or whatever. She's been questioned about this and that. That's not protecting her. She should have never, not even her name. With Natasha, so many people going after Natasha because of the way she conducts herself on social media. Being in her adult child having a channel and everything, that's a different story. She's an adult. But for this minor child, she should have never, ever have been put out there. Especially when she has a case pending. Okay? That's even more of a reason not to have put her out there. That would have been protecting her. I mean, I won't even put my grown adult children's names out there. I will never, ever say their names. Just because of the craziness that goes on in these YouTube streets. I will never put their names out there. And if it got so bad to where all these calls, all these CPS calls and all this other ugliness was going on, my kids would be more important than YouTube. No matter how much money I was making, it would be more important. It would be worth it more to me to say, you know what? I would rather go out and get a job outside of the home to where none of this is on social media anymore and my kids are not being attacked on a daily, then put up with this anymore. But it wouldn't have happened to begin with if the children wouldn't be put out there. And all the business, mentioning their names all the time or her name all the time and what's going on and being such an open book. That's just my opinion. That's how you protect the minors in your home. Don't put them out there in the drama community. I mean, the grown adults out in the drama community should know better than to go on the attack as it is, but we can see that they don't. So that's how you protect them. And then she says all this about needing mental health, and then she says mental health, mental health. In my opinion, that's bullshit, too. And then she said, well, right there, guys, I mean, she's saying all this stuff about needing mental health is bullshit. How many people out there, viewers, subs, have mental health issues, okay, of some sort? Panic attacks, severe depression, PTSD, bipolar, anxiety. I mean, the list goes on and on. How many people, viewers and subs, have been misdiagnosed, or it took years of suffering before you seeked treatment or seeked help, or maybe you're still suffering in silence? Okay? To me, that's a slap in the face. A slap in the face. That statement, all this about needing mental health, mental health, mental health, in my opinion, that's bullshit too. So many people suffer daily with some sort of mental health issue. And then she says, I'm 46 years old and I didn't know anything about mental health until I was in my 30s. Because I was taught to work out my own damn problems, and I did not know what depression was as a child. Well, we'll stop there. This is another slap in the face to all of you out there that are suffering from some sort of mental health crisis, mental health issues. I'm 46 years old and I didn't know anything about mental health issues or mental health until I was in my 30s, because I was taught to work out my own damn problems. Seriously? That statement there is one of the reasons why a lot of people do not seek help. Okay? Because they think they can work it out on their own. All right? Or people like Natasha, okay? They go to their friend, someone like Natasha, and say they are feeling extremely depressed. And they go to someone like her and they pour out their heart and say, I am feeling like I'm going to self-harm myself. You know, I am so depressed and I don't know what's wrong. I don't know why I feel this way. And you have someone like her that says, you know what? I was taught to work out my own damn problems. So you need to work it out. Work it out yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. Work it out. I was taught to work it out. Can you imagine? She says people want to twist what she says. That's exactly what she said. Word for word. I'm 46 years old and I didn't know anything about mental health until I was in my 30s because I was taught to work out my own damn problems. So basically, she was taught that if you are depressed, right? If you were thinking about self-harming, or if you were feeling some sort of way and just did not know what was going on in your head, work it out yourself. Work it out. Just work it out, you know? You don't need to go seek help. She's basically saying she knew nothing about mental health. Really? I thought she was so smart. But she knew nothing about mental health until in her 30s. That wasn't that long ago. She's only 46. So she's had nobody in her family that's had any mental health issues. I mean, I have a cousin that has schizophrenia, sorry, and she was completely normal, completely fine. I don't want to say normal, completely fine until her early 20s. And out of the blue, she got bad. I'm not going to go into exactly how she acted and what she did. It was horrible. She's on meds now, and she she's pretty good now, but she lost a lot. She lost her marriage. She lost her job because she did not see it. She didn't recognize it. She didn't know what was going on. She didn't know. So that is a big slap in the face. I'm sorry, it is. And the last thing that I heard was, I didn't know what depression was as a child. I didn't have time to be depressed. I was outside, I was doing chores, and I had responsibilities. Really? Seriously? Okay, that's another slap in the face for children that are going through a lot. I mean, not everybody had the nuclear family, okay? Not everybody had parents. I didn't, okay? Not everybody, there's a lot of us that, were in the foster care system. There was a lot of children that, went through molestation. Um, a lot of children that got physically abused, mentally abused, okay, bullied. That would cause depression, right? And those children probably, including myself, had responsibilities and had to do probably more chores than Natasha had to do. I know I was responsible to do quite a bit of chores, or I got the switch. You know, those switches that you had to go pick off the tree? Yeah, until your legs bled? Standing in the corner for hours till you thought you couldn't stand anymore? A lot of kids out there have a very rough childhood, and, the chores, had plenty of chores to do. Plenty. Cutting grass. Do you guys remember? I don't know if you do. You know those, they were handheld, oh, they were, you cut weeds with, and they would give you blisters. I don't even know what they're called anymore. If I never see another one in my life, I don't want to see one of those. Okay? They're those big old, like, clippers that you hold by your hands. Yeah, I would have blisters all over my hands. Okay? All over a fence line, flower beds, mowing yards, mowing the yard. I was 7 years old when I started doing that. Standing up on a chair to do dishes because, I couldn't reach. But, I still knew what it felt like to be depressed and know that this isn't right. This isn't how children are supposed to be treated. There's no love here. There's no affection. This is really depressing. I'm depressed. So that's really, that statement right there really got to me. That really got to me because there's a lot of kids out there that are abused, all right? And they still have to do a lot of chores, like I said, probably more than she ever could think of, and don't have parents. And they know what depression feels like, even with all these chores that they have to do. And they sit at night and cry themselves to sleep, wishing that their life could be different, that they could be in a different household, that they could have parents that loved them. And they don't see a way out because there is no adult to turn to. There's no one to talk to. They don't feel safe. So yeah, there's no twisting those words. None. None. Okay? That was a slap in the face to a lot of people that suffer from any type of mental illness, no matter what it is. Now, she says she has depression now because her channels are down. She's so depressed. Now she knows what now she knows what depression is. I've heard her say that on a live before. Now, she was so depressed and this and that, and she's so down. It seems like to me that she's had a pretty good sheltered life where people has done for her. Not saying she didn't work hard. I mean, I don't know. She says she did. But, I mean, she had family, she says she's never had to deal with domestic violence. She didn't know what it was like to be abused ever, or to be depressed. She didn't know what mental illness was. So she didn't have any of that. She didn't have, she didn't have depression as a child. She doesn't know what it feels like. So that's why she doesn't understand. She doesn't understand anybody that has any of these issues. That's why she can't relate. So those statements to me were, was a slap in the face to anybody listening. And like I said, she's like, people will twist my words. You can't twist those. How can you twist them? But people will defend those words because they're loyal to her. That loyal. They're so loyal that they can be suffering from some sort of mental illness, okay? And either A, they're just really loyal, they're a sub, they're really loyal, or B, they have a channel and they're trying to grow their channel and they don't want to have a fallout with her. They don't want to lose no subs. And that's pretty sad. And the last thing I'm going to say about Natasha, and yes, I might have sound harsh, okay, on this video. I don't dislike Natasha. This one just really hit home, okay, for all of those that do suffer. But the last thing I have to say is because she said, well, I canceled all my memberships on YouTube. So I know she has a lot of people in her community that have channels, okay, that are trying to grow and make an income. She has quite a few. And she said that she canceled all her memberships. So how does that feel that she is not a member to you? She's not paying. To support your channel, okay? But she expects and wants you to support her. Even though she's not supposed to be on YouTube, or she's not on YouTube, even though we see her keep popping up, she's dropping that link all the time, and she's wanting you to support her, all right? And she's still getting, and I said this on the video that I didn't get up, and I will go over this. She's still making quite a bit, okay? She is. With her Patreon and with her PayPal. She is making quite a bit, more than a lot of channels out here in the drama community. She's still making quite a bit. So how do you feel when she said she canceled all her memberships? So she is not supporting any of her people in her community that are trying to grow and either support their families, you know, their children, grow their channel, or supplement their income, that are in her community. She got mad at YouTube, so she canceled all of her memberships. But she wants you to support, to continue to support her on different platforms. Now, a lot of people have, every time she puts up a channel and she gets monetized and she's able to get the memberships going and people do the memberships, and then the channel gets taken down and your membership gets paused or whatever it gets. And then she does it again and it gets monetized and the same thing. All that money gets what? There for, it's there, and you're given that money and it's just, the channel gets taken down anyways. I mean, she's got quite a few on Patreon, and the lowest, she said the lowest tier or whatever it was $5. I talked about that on the other video, and I'll do that. But, I mean, how does that make you feel? And people will say, well, she lost her income. No, guys, she did lose, because she was making quite a bit. So, yeah, she did lose a good chunk when you're making a ton of money. And not a ton of money being monetized, a ton of money with super chats and memberships and the PayPal. Okay, she was making quite a bit. And then, of course, the makeup sales. She was making quite a bit on that combined. But she's still making a good portion on her PayPal and her Patreon. And then, she gets the stars or whatever for Facebook. But how does it feel that she is not supporting your channels with the membership? She said that she's not. She took that away, but she wants you to support her and keep donating to her. But she's not going to, even though she's making more than you, trust me, she is. She's not going to support your channel financially, even though, it might even be a small amount. She's not going to do that. She took her, she said that. She took her memberships, she stopped her memberships. So how does that feel? But she still wants you to keep supporting her financially. But she will not do the same for you. So I'm going to end it on that. This went longer than I wanted it to. The mental health issue just really hit me, okay? Because, like I said, I feel like it was a slap in the face to a lot of people that suffer. Just those words that she said. Because a lot of people do suffer. And just because she doesn't, and she doesn't know how it feels, and she might not have loved ones that suffer, she thinks it's BS that, we need, and in my opinion, we do. We need more attention to mental health, okay? We need it put out there. We do need more attention. And I want to do more videos on mental health. People suffer from it. That's why I was doing the videos, and I kind of got sidetracked on having, like I was doing the home spa, and I really got sidetracked. We need to kind of slow down and take care of ourselves and kind of get away from the drama sometimes, and do exercises, or get out in nature and just rejuvenate, and do more reading, or do whatever it takes. Take care of our own mental health. Do what we enjoy. So on that note, like I said, I am gonna go, and I will do that other video. I'm not sure when, and it's really going to be off because I was touching on so many topics, but all at once. But everyone have a great evening, and I will just catch you the next time.